Hello friends, this is Jasu Bakuhatsu and welcome back to Let's Play Plok. So yeah, here we are on Legacy Island, controlling Grandpappy Plok here. I love just the... I haven't really touched on the aesthetics much in this game, or I talked about the music. I love kind of the graphical style too, and just kind of the vibrant colors and just sort of the weird, you got like weird vegetation and flowers and stuff growing everywhere. It's just the look of this game. It's got, I don't know, kind of that weird surrealism almost that you see in a lot of I don't know what to, stuff that's produced by British weirdos, which indeed is what the Pickford brothers are, as I understand. I could be wrong about that. Honestly, I don't even know why I thought of it. I've never actually seen them or heard them speak or anything. I just sort of saw their pictures and the webcomic and just kind of assumed they're British. Honestly, I'd say like 6-1 they're British. I'm just gonna call that right here. And if they aren't, whatever. Nevertheless, the game kind of has that style, which I like. And also this Legacy Island here, which is, all sepia-toned, black and white, mustachioed Grandpappy Plok is just great. And as you can see, we'll be fighting the Bobbins brothers again later on, which is kind of another weird thing to the pacing of the game. It's like we've like barely even gotten our feet wet in Acrylic Island, and then we're just doing back to this old style of level design once again. And yeah, as you can see, it's a little bit more challenging this time around. Not quite as... more challenging, but usually in a good way. I actually don't mind most of the levels on Legacy Island as much as I did some of the worst Cotton Island Cotton Island levels. But yeah. And I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh yeah, and yeah, it's kind of a funny twist on the old, mishits on the flag things and just all the garbage that that Plok ran up the flagpole on Cotton Island, and of course we're doing that again here with the holes. I don't know, it's just got a kind of a silly sense of humor that I don't know, it's not... It kind of appeals to me. Like I said, it kind of has a... It's cute. That's the only way I can think to describe it, or there's got to be a better word for it. I'm going with cute for the moment, though. Whimsical? Not quite whimsical. Just, yeah, weird British surrealism. That's honestly the best way I could think to describe it, really. Oh, yeah, stuff like that is the kind of stuff that I hate on these kinds of levels. Or it's just, yeah, the dude runs at you. Mind you, it's kind of got that... I noticed the same thing in the Sonic the Hedgehog games, where you saw that sometimes in Sonic the Hedgehog as well, where something would just, like, run at you, or like spikes or something would come up, you're just running along, and then something hits you faster than you can react to it. But what I found in that game, and what I actually found in this game sometimes too, is once you sort of get a bit of a feel for the level design, you've played the game enough, you kind of get a sense of where the level designers tend to put things, and you can almost kind of predict a lot of the time when the enemies and obstacles are going to come up and sort of prepare for them. It's like, okay, we see, like honestly, yeah, slopes like this are often prime targets for logs there. So you saw I jumped there just because I expected there might be falling logs, because there often are when you're going up a slope in this game. So I guess you could almost say that that's maybe an intended part of the game, where it's like kind of getting a feel for the level design, starting to sort of predict when things are going to come up. Personally, it's not a thing I don't know, it's annoying when you're first playing through the game, and indeed I would say this is a very, very annoying and frustrating game to play through your first time through, especially if you're, or at least really only if you're going on the normal difficulty. Like I said, actually Child's Play mode is quite fun and breezy. But once you kind of get the hang of things, know the game well enough to, like I said, when you're going uphill, I was just blabbing, so I wasn't paying attention. And actually, to the game's credit, you do have a fair bit of health to sort of tank those kind of unfair hits, enough to the point where you can sort of tank the first few hits and then sort of learn from there when the future quick hits are going to come up. Kind of the same way in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, where hits are mostly inconsequential, although unfortunately that'll become less and less true as we go through the game. It kind of has almost a Castlevania approach to damage, actually, where as you go further and further through the game, enemies will start dealing more and more damage, which as I sort of alluded to earlier, or really described earlier, makes the later levels kind of a gigantic pain in the ass. These Legacy, I don't know, maybe it's just the charm of the sepia tones and Grandpappy Plok, and actually the writing is kind of funny too, which is another thing. I've kind of been, honestly, I've seen all these jokes and all the dialogue in this game a bunch of times over, because honestly, yeah, if it wasn't clear already, I'd actually never legitimately beaten this game until I did a bunch of practice runs for this, or I'd Plok continued my way through, and it was kind of horrendous and a gigantic pain in the ass. But yeah, but basically now they're just fucking trolling you at that point. Come on. Oh, that's a bad hit to take too. I actually don't have a good way through. Yeah, this section here, I have not found a consistent way to get through these guys here. Okay, yeah, you can kind of bait them out, and like I said, that's an instance where the kind of smaller than it looks hitbox of Plok, or in this case Grandpappy Plok, really works to your advantage. But what was I saying? I knew it was coming. I just fumbled on the controller a bit. Oh yeah, it took me a lot of practice to actually get good enough to this game, to the point where I kind of feel confident doing an LP that won't become a gigantic disaster, where I have to like replay like hours of gameplay by continuing constantly. So hopefully that'll be the case. And as you can see, we're stocking up there on lives at this point. In fact, I believe we're maxed out. No, I'm pretty sure you can go above 9. Maybe you can't. Maybe I'm just not paying attention. I mean, I'm certainly not paying attention. But yeah, I actually did a live stream actually of Plok, one of my practice runs of Plok, and it got really salty at the end. I get so angry at some of the last few levels of the game. And actually, one other thing that I like about Legacy Island, which you'll kind of, or again, I'm not going to get that buzzsaw because that'll skip you over a big old portion of the level, whereas I actually want to... Or actually, you know what? Now that I remember, no, I make this mistake every time. Not going to make it on the actual recorded run. You cannot beat this level without taking that buzzsaw. Or I mean, you can, but you'll take a bunch of damage from the water there. That giant pit is only crossable with that buzzsaw, which is actually kind of bullshit, because if you leave that buzzsaw on screen for too long, it will actually disappear. These flowers are placed in such annoying areas sometimes. Oops, I thought he was going to keep going that way. Oh well. Do I want to do it again? I really want to stock up on those extra lives, but I think it's gonna take a... I guess I could do it again. No, it's gonna take a while. Let's just move on. Whoa, that was close. So it's not just the prediction though. Again, hitbox is really working out to my advantage there. But yeah, having really finely honed reflexes will help you as well. And actually, if you play this game enough, playing Plok is a good way to work on your reflexes, because there's a lot of shit that just flies right at you that you gotta react to super fast, especially on Legacy Island here, and to a lesser, or actually even, especially on Legacy Island and Cotton Island. And actually here we come to one of the more difficult bosses in the game, as you can see. And again, it's kind of a weird thing for pacing. It's like we go 2 levels into Acrylic, and then we go on to Legacy, and then you fight the Bobbins brothers again, only there's a 3rd one this time, which actually makes this incredibly difficult. This is, and again, because like I said, those Plok lives really matter to me, so it would actually be great if I could beat these guys in one go. You can see I got kind of a little system worked out, but basically there's a little bit of randomness though in the way these guys bounce sometimes, so you can really kind of just get screwed over. You can get them all stacked up, just like you're playing Burger Time. If you get them all in a nice big stack, yeah, that's the way to do it. That's actually really great. It's been a while since I've been able to get a 1 life run on the Bobbin Brothers, old-timey Bobbins Brothers featuring Irving. And there, we got the Amulet of Power. What is even the point of all this anyways? What is the purpose of this entire flashback? Just more levels? Well, actually, it turns out that the amulet is actually like a real item with an actual application in-game. We have a new special power now that we have this amulet. Or, I mean, we don't have the amulet yet. This is, I guess, not exactly a flashback sequence. A dream, maybe? Or I guess it's a flashback. That would be really weird if Plok were, dreaming about all this stuff that happened before he was born, presumably. But anyways, yeah, to wrap up Legacy Island, I guess. I don't know what it is. I should probably... I don't know. I know there's people on the internet who love to do those kind of in-depth analysis of like level designs in games and stuff. I think it would be cool to do something like that for the Plok games, just because of how great the level design is. I don't know what it is exactly, but something about the Legacy Island levels feels just like a little bit less bullshit than Cotton Island, which makes them kind of rub me the wrong way a little less than the earliest levels in the game did. It actually didn't take, and yeah, actually it runs faster than Cotton Island did as well. So actually we'll do one more acrylic island level before cutting the video, I think. Or maybe that was a bad idea, actually. So the levels do start to ramp up in difficulty and also in length as well as the game goes on. And this is there's kind of a few specific levels where the game notably ramps up and in difficulty and length. And this is kind of the prelude to the next segment of Acrylic Island levels, where things started to get a little bit, or certainly much longer, and just a little bit more difficult as well. Should still be no problem. I don't expect to die or anything, but it could happen. And actually, even apart from continues, actually, even if you don't continue, dying can be really punishing in this game as well. Because like I said, the levels, especially the Acrylic Island levels, can be really, really long. They're just really, really big levels. Kind of, not exactly labyrinthine or anything, but very, very large and take a while to traverse. And there's no checkpoints. There's no checkpoint system whatsoever in the entire game. Anytime you die in a level, you start that level from the very beginning. Which, again, sounds dreadful given how long some of these acrylic levels can be, but it's, again, because the level design is generally so solid. There's a couple notable exceptions that we'll see later on in the game, but in general, the acrylic levels are designed well enough that there's generally like little shortcuts that you can take to sort of speed you through it. And you can't take those shortcuts your first time through. You need to scour every bit of the level for these fleas. But you know, like for example, this little like under bit of the level here, we need to come by here at least one time to beat all these fleas. But say I die right after this little underground section here, I don't need to come back here. I can just move on to the next part of the level using a handy shortcut at the start, and not even have to redo all this stuff. Whoa! And actually, it looks like although that won't be the case if I actually die here. Just because there's actually another flea we're going to need to hit. At least I think there's... Oh no, yeah, we're perfectly fine. And actually, even then, there's a handy shortcut. Plok continue get. And in fact, I might as well show off that shortcut. So yeah, we basically traversed like 2/3 of the level at this point, and there is... So yeah, say I died like right here. Would I have to do all that again? No, as it turns out, there's this neat little shortcut here. Or yeah, I can hit that thing. And then what that does is it makes the bridge collapsible, so you can just ride that platform up right from the very beginning, just up to the next part of the level. Actually, you know what? There's another level, so actually I guess we're about halfway finished this one. Ooh, there's a hidden area up too, which will also bump up the length of this level as well, but like I said, want to get all of these shells, or at least as many as possible, stuck up those extra lives. I'm curious, actually, if we can go above 9 lives. I'm almost positive that I've been above 9 on some of my previous practice runs of this game, but I just want to be sure. And yeah, this is kind of a weird, like, singular experience in this level here. This is this bonus area, or this little side section here. As far as I know, there's not another one like it in the whole game. I could be wrong. I'm not a Plok expert or anything, but yeah, as far as I know, this is like the only like side area with sort of this nature. Every other sort of bonus hidden area is gotten to by punching the fruit a bunch of times. Actually, the way this one works is weird too. So yeah, now we got this power up. So we gotta kill that flower. Oh dang, there was a health pickup there that I forgot to get. Those big flowers do drop health pickups. There, once you collect enough of the gems, that blows away the bridge there. Or you know what? Yeah, I can collect these things with these rockets. Oh, can't collect the Plok continue, though. Honestly, I shouldn't even care about collecting these things, since I'm hopefully not going to game over at all. But, yeah, you know. Actually, and yeah, I'm certainly not going to game over within the next 3 or 4 levels, so still. Just collect all the things. That's a good mindset to get into when you're playing Plok, is just collect absolutely everything that you can get your hands on. Actually, that's not entirely a good mindset. Sometimes you want to save those health pickups for later. Just make sure you can get the maximum use out of them. I love... I haven't talked enough about the basic mechanics of this game, I think. I love just the whole concept. It's kind of like Rayman in that you've got your, you know, sort of limb-throwing mechanic, but it's really different and a lot more interesting the way it's executed here. Just because, you know, you can throw off all of your limbs. Whoops, I screwed this up. Oh, that was close. I'm tempted to go back for those, but I'm sure we'll be fine with just those. Or, you know, yeah, we're on our last flea here. Sometimes these fleas bounce randomly, and sometimes if you leave them alive too long, they can get themselves into some really irritating locations. Which is why you generally want to, yeah, take care of them as fast as possible, which is why it's, again, so annoying to have those really long invulnerability times for them. Oh, my nose is like all itchy all of a sudden. And yeah, well, we got like, what, 2 or 3 Plok continue letters in that level. Kind of weird since, yeah, again, we're very unlikely to be needing them. But, yeah, that was a longer level. And yeah, speaking of weird pacing, we've actually got, if I'm not mistaken, we got another boss coming up, like, right after that stage. And, I guess, yeah, sort of in the vein of this game's weird pacing, that's about that's about time, I think, on the video. So, yeah, when we come back, we will sort out those Penkinos. And so, yeah, look forward to that. And until then, thank you all for watching.